Welcome back. We are going to continue our tutorial on using and creating unit abilities. We have created an ability for a mage called Icicle. The way we access that is by going to unit events in our database, which is done by selecting one of these guys, hitting unit events, and then you can see their abilities. Okay, so this ability, just a quick rundown, we stored our mage's information, her location and unit ID. We then made it so we can select an enemy within a range of 2 and stored their location and unit ID. I'm going to get rid of that one. We then gave choices whether we want to cast Icicle, cancel, or give an explanation of the ability. We then played an animation. We stored our mage's magic stat, our enemy's resistance stat, subtracted them, and then did the damage. Okay, but there's more to this that we need to do. For example, we are not able to cancel out of this ability. So how are we going to do that? Well, during the extract map position section, if we cancel, we turn on self switch B. So when self switch B is activated, what we want to do is go to skip event and then end current event. But that's only going to happen if we select self switch B. So this side is triggers for this event to happen. This event, without a trigger, this event will happen. With a trigger, this will only happen if the trigger is satisfied, which in this case, if B is on, which happens from canceling this. So this cancels, turns on B, then moves to the next thing. If B is on, you will end the current event. Otherwise, it will go to the next one. So that's what we want. Now show choices. We cast Icicle, which means A is on. We cancel, which means B is on, or explanation, which means C is on. So we want cancel to work again. So we're going to just copy and paste this and then place it after cancel. So now cancel is on here, it happens here, and it ends the event, and then none of the rest of the stuff happens. Now what happens if we want an explanation? Well, we can do a new event. We're going to show a message. Now, who's going to be saying this message? We could do a narration message or a simple message, but we're going to show the message from a unit. So we're going to, the unit that we're going to select is the mage. So the mage is going to be the one saying this. And she says, I bombard the enemy with sharp icicles. I think that's how you spell it. Okay. But we only want that to show up if we selected C. So that only happens if you hit C. Now, one of the problems here is if we selected C, it'll show the message, but then keep going. We don't want that. After the message, we want to still confirm whether we want to cast a spell. So let's see if we can figure out how to do that. We kind of want it to jump back. Message scroll. Command jump. I think that's the one that's we're looking for. We're going to jump backwards. Is it 3? Let's see where that brings us. Okay, I think that did it. So now after C, and we only want this to happen if C is on. Okay, let's see if all that works. Let's test this out. Oops, game. Okay, so we're going to go up to this guy. We're going to cast Icicle. Now let's cancel. Oh, but that ended her turn. We don't want that to happen. Okay, so let's just end and see what happens when we do the explanation. We'll do Icicle. We'll do explanation. It says, I'm bombard the enemy with sharp icicles. And now we can keep going. So we can cast Icicle, and it still cast Icicle. So we want to figure out when we cancel, how come it ended her turn. Oops, wrong location. Unit event, Icicle. Do we end current event? Do we want to skip current event? Is that what we want? Let's try skip current event. Let's see if that works. Icicle. I'm going to cancel. No, still ended her turn. Why is that happening? Well, let me check my other game, because I know I figured it out. Database, unit events, Icicle. So we went to end current event. Skip event, end current event. That's from the extract. Looks like I did something more complicated here. So I change switch, reactivate on. Well, let's focus on the first one. Let's see if it works during the extract map position section. Icicle, this is the extract map position. We're going to cancel. Oh, but it still went forward. And now it went back. That is strange. Icicle, cancel. I'm trying to help you out here. Let's see what I did. Unit events. Let's have trigger on. We're going to Marin. So we extracted our map position. I'll get to the move unit part. End current event is B. I thought we did that. Okay, end current event is B. Now let's see if that works. Keep going to that part. Icicle. We're going to cancel, and it went back to here. That's what we want. Okay, and she still gets her turn. Okay, we're going to close out of that. Now we want the second cancel to work. So now I have to figure out what I did with this reactivate on switch, which is right there. So I'm guessing I have a something with an auto event and map common events. Reactivate unit right here. Okay? So when reactivate is on, we're going to change unit state, turn the switch off, and then set that to free. Okay, not too complicated. We'll get it working in a second. Okay, so we're going to create a global switch and call it reactivate unit. Reactivate. My brain's not working super great. Reactivate. I think I spelled that right. Okay, reactivate unit. So now we have that switch. I want to create a map common event. So I'm going to go here. We're going to create an auto event. Rename it reactivate unit. This is only going to happen when a switch is... Oh, I did spell it wrong. My brain was not working. We'll go back and correct that in a second. But when this is on, we're going to change unit state, which is under the battle tab. And wait is going to be disabled. And we're going to make it so unit ID 1 is the one that is reactivated. Now we want to turn the switch off when we're done, so it doesn't keep reactivating. Off. And now we want this to be able to happen a bunch of times. So we are going to change event state. Reactivate unit is now free and can keep happening. Yeah. I forgot the E. Let's go change that real fast. Reactivate. I thought it looked wrong. Okay. Now, back to her. Where are we? Skip current event, and then reactivate unit. Right? We don't want skip, we want end current event. And I think we turn the switch on before we end the event. And that has to be limited to B. Okay, so when we select B, it'll reactivate our unit, or turn on this, end our event, and then since this is on, it'll trigger that new event, giving her her turn back. Let's see if that worked. You can see how these can get a little bit complicated. I keep selecting continue. Okay. So we will fight. We will cast Icicle. When we cancel here, it just goes back here. And when we cancel there, she goes back. We will cast Icicle. And now get to this menu. We hit cancel. She stays there and then gets to move again. So that's, we don't want that to happen. So I believe my only option for getting this to work is when we cancel, it will also, we'll also have to put her back to her starting position. Okay, that was those other parts that I had in my other game. So let's figure out how to solve that. We're going to need to create variables, which I think I already did off stream or off the video. So I went to section 3 and I created P1x, P2x. I created x variable for each of my 6 units, created a y variable for each of my 6 units. Okay? This is going to store their positions for when you cancel abilities. So how are we going to do that? Well, you can create each of these variables, and now we're going to create an auto event. And the auto event is going to be a map comment event, so this is going to happen on all the maps, just like the reactivate unit. So I already have this here, the starting location, and we're going to do it at the start of the player phase. We are going to store a bunch of variables. So change variable P1x, and we're going to set that to unit swordsman x. We're just going to do it for 2 units for right now, and I'll fix it up. And we want to do it for y as well. Swordsman y. And we only care about the positions. We don't really need the unit IDs. So we'll also do P2x is going to be our mage. And it's going to store the mage's x. And P2y is going to be the mage's y. So at the start of every turn, it's going to store the mage's x and y where she starts. And we're going to, just for the heck of it, do it for ending locations as well. Oh, and very important, we need to set this to free. So change event state, starting location free. Oh, that's ending location. Sorry. And this is going to be end of player phase. So there, our end of player phase is done. We want to go back to starting location, start a player phase, and then free that one as well. There, free. Okay. So every turn that this game has, it's going to store the locations of these characters as those variables. And I don't think it really makes the game lag or anything like that. Okay, now we have to go back to her icicle. And we want that before we end this event, we want to send her back to her location. So we are going to do new and battle move unit, and we're just going to say unit ID 1. We're going to move them to specify variables. This is going to be, since it's Marin's P2x and P2y. Okay, a couple other things. We want it to happen instantly. We do not want it to remove after moving. Allow overlap, it shouldn't really matter, but we're going to do appear in open space. We want to ignore terrain. I always have them face forward. Wait for completion is fine. So, and we want to make this only happen if B happens. Oh wait, did I click that right? Enable and B. I think I can do this here too. I don't know if it's necessary, but that's for if you cancel out of extract map position. So all of this should work now. Just make sure you hit OK so it saves it. And let's see how we do it. Okay. I always do that. Okay. Want to fight? I'm going to cast Icicle. We're going to cancel there, and it sends her all the way back. I don't need to do that. And I probably don't want to do that. So I will get rid of that part. But now let's see if we cancel out of this part, what happens. That sends her all the way back. So I don't know if I just want to do that to be consistent. I think I like it better without that, but at least this works now. I like it better. When it keeps up the menu, at this part, it'll go back to the menu, and I want her to stay there. But when I do this, and it cancels, I need her to go all the way back to her starting position. So let's just go back and change that. Whoops. I want to get rid of that part. Okay, I think I like that. And we will end the video there, and I think there's a third part where I can add a bit more. We'll just do it in this video real fast. Later down the line we'll get into more extravagant things, but I'm going to just copy that. I like setting all my variables to 0 from the start. So we're going to have x1, y1, and the ID1. I'm just going to copy and paste that, and then make all of these x2, y2, unit ID do. So it starts from 0 from all these. This game rarely has bugs, but I've had a few instances where this not doing this caused problems. Okay, so that's variables. Actually, I will make a third part to this because I want to set the charges of the ability. So if you can only use it twice in battle, you subtract that. So it goes down to 1 use left, 0 uses left, and so on. So we'll make the final video for abilities on that. And we want to do experience.